You thought people were nosy when you were working? Wait till you decide to retire. I'm going to let you know some ways you can respond to nosy people when you're going to retire. How's it going, Reinventors? I'm Amelia, and this is Reinventing You. I want to inspire you so that you will live a life of joy, fulfillment, and purpose through reinventing yourself. I post weekly. I invite you to subscribe, like this video, and don't forget to share. Now, one of my most popular videos, in fact, I think 3 of my most popular videos have been about nosy people, how to respond to nosy people, how not to be a nosy person, what to do if somebody is nosy. And I've gotten a lot of feedback from a lot of you guys about how you handle people who are nosy, especially in the workplace. That tends to be the place where people are most nosy. And I've shared this before, that when I decided to retire early and I was planning on reinventing myself, I had a lot of people who asked me a lot of questions about what I was going to do. And partly it had to do with the fact that I was retiring early. Most people don't retire after 20 years in the ministry. Most people don't retire around age 50. Most people do wait until they're 62 or above, which seems like, quote, the natural time to do it. And, a lot of people think of these retirees that either, cruise the world, or they're on the beaches, or they're on the golf course, that kind of thing. That's what people tend to think when they think of people who retire. Older, gray-haired, stoop, all those kinds of things, which is like not real. My husband is about to retire, and he's older than I am, so he's at that age. He is, the quote natural or normal age to retire. So he's not getting the same kinds of questions and nosy, ness that I have gotten when I decided to retire early. Instead of nosy questions, he's gotten nosy suggestions. You thought it was bad when people were nosy when you were working? Wait till you retire. I guess I already said that. I'll stop there. What I'm saying is, when my husband tells people that he's going to retire, everybody has a suggestion with what he can do. Like, you need to, my husband's a pastor, so he's going to retire from the ministry. People have told him he could teach, he could take on some smaller churches, he could take some time and do some writing, he could do this thing online, he could do this or could do that. Everybody has had a suggestion of what he can do on retirement. But what can you do if you decide to retire, and instead of getting questions about what you are going to do when you retire, everybody's giving you suggestions about what you're going to do when you retire? How do you handle that? It's a little bit different, I think, than just nosy questions. It has more to do with, letting people know they're not being helpful. And also, you've got to just decide how rude do you want to be? What bridges are you planning on burning? I mean, I've had some people who have had some really incredibly rude responses in the comments in some of my videos, which might, that might be something that you have to do to preserve yourself. It depends on what area of the world or the country you live in, or the atmosphere you work in or you live in, all those things depend. But when you're retiring, you've got to decide, how professional am I going to be about my responses, or how am I going to, am I going to be rude? How rude? All of these questions. And I think it sounds silly in a way, but it really is. In order for you to keep your sanity, you have got to, number one, be prepared. And it's true. If you decide to retire and you start telling people are going to come out of the woodwork with ideas of what you can do with your time in retirement. I mean, they're just going to do it. Now, if you're really thinking about, you don't know what you want to do, and you want to spend some time with me, check out these videos here. I have a whole playlist. I did this in Vlogmas of this year, of things that you can do when you retire. Now, my suggestions aren't specific. Like, I don't tell you you need to go and travel or teach or this or that. They're simply things that you need to do For instance, take care of yourself, have some self-care. All those kinds of things are really helpful for you when you retire. So my things are some general ideas of what you need to do, but I don't have specifics. And what happens is when you tell people you're retiring, they're going to have specific things that they're going to tell you to do in retirement. And I know I'm taking a long time to get to where the things that you need to do, but I'm trying to explain this because it is so important for you to be prepared. A lot of people have good intentions and they're trying to help you out, but they are not. So that has got to be in the back of your head when you are responding to people. So be prepared. Realize that most people are, they're good intention. They want you to be happy in retirement. And they probably think they know you and think they know your talents and your abilities, and they certainly probably don't want them to go to waste, or, some people may be wanting to take advantage of them. I don't know. But how you respond is going to be up to you, but you need to be prepared. And these are some of the things that you can do. The first thing is you can have a planned statement. Something like, I know you're trying to help, but at this point, I'm just going to take one day at a time, and I know that the ideas for what I need to do will come to me eventually. That's a simple answer. And when I say simple, don't have a long, I watched this video on Reinventing You, and it said that I need to just pay attention to people who really mean something to me, and you're not one of them. That's not really a good thing to say. Please don't bring up this channel and your ideas. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is have a simple statement. Keep it really short of how you're going to respond to people. And write it down, practice it, get your spouse or a friend to, make a suggestion and have you respond. You need to join the circus. I know that you're being well-meaning, but I'm going to take it one day at a time and let's see how it goes. Another thing is don't over-explain. Like somebody says, well, I think you need to go on this cooking show because you have always brought these great foods to the break room at work, and I think you would be a great person on this amateur cooking show. I think that don't say, well, I really do enjoy cooking, but I think I'm just going to cook for my family because, back when I was growing up, my mother used to, don't go into a long explanation. Just say, well, I appreciate you, but it's not very helpful right now because I think I'm just going to take it one day at a time. We'll see, that kind of thing. Keep it simple. Also, you have to try to shut it down. So there's something about, you don't give them another open door. Well, that kind of thing. Just say, thank you, and move on. You don't belabor the point. Another thing is you can just say no. I know we have a hard time. A lot of us have a hard time saying no, and it's something we don't do very well. A lot of times when people ask you to do things, you think you have to give a reason why, and you don't. You just say no or no thank you, and you move on. And that's a really great simple answer, and it kind of does shut things down. Depending on the person you're talking to. I know a few people they wouldn't shut down, but anyway. Another thing you can say, well, it sounds like you put some thought into this. Is this something you're thinking about doing on retirement? Or you put some thought. It sounds like you've really been thinking a long time about this. Maybe there's something you should be considering doing. And if they're retired, say, well, is that something you thought about doing when you were retiring? Turn the question back. Have that question to ask them. Turn it around. You've got to get the focus off you. And like I've said before, people love to talk about themselves. So get them started talking about themselves. It gets their suggestions for your life out of your face. Another thing is you can not say anything. Don't say anything. It's the hardest thing to do. I know I have trouble keeping my own mouth shut, but don't say anything. Okay, now you can be rude. You can say, well, go, whatever yourself, or, whatever. And that is up to you. If that's a bridge you want to burn and you want to be rude like that, I'm not suggesting you do that, okay? I can't prevent you from doing it. I say, let's not do that, especially if you're expecting them to collect money on your behalf. No, just kidding. What I'm saying is, don't be rude. You can be firm but kind. You can just say, and if they keep going, just say, look, it's really none of your business what I do on a retirement. That's abrupt. It's not rude. It's the truth. It's not any of their business what you're going to do on retirement. You have to be able to read the room. Surely by now, if you're retiring, you're going to know how to handle whoever's talking to you. And maybe sometimes you do have to burn a few bridges, but it may not be the time to do that. I'm just saying you don't have to be overly rude, but you can be very firm. And just remember that there are people whose opinions that you do want to hear. And I'll be honest with you, I have suggested to my husband of what he can do in retirement. Now, whether I'm one of the people that he's going to be listening to, I don't know. Okay, Ed, I know my idea for us to do a YouTube channel was probably not a good one. Anyway, I know that I do it out of love and caring. I know my husband. But now hearing him say, I'm so tired of people suggesting things that I need to do in retirement, makes me realize, unless he comes to ask me and says, hey, what do you think I need to do in retirement? Or what suggestions would you have? I don't need to say anything, because as I know, when you retire, it is up to you to make those decisions. And go back, like I said, to my playlist of my Vlogmas videos. These are the things that you really need to be thinking about when you retire. Not necessarily directly things you're going to be doing, but ways to handle your life in retirement. If you're retiring or about to retire, please let me know in the comments. And let me know if you've had people to say, hey, I think you should do this on retirement. I would love to hear from you. You may have a different response that you would give, and I appreciate all of you who made suggestions in the present and the past of what to do when people are nosy, so this is very similar. I want to hear from you, so don't forget to leave your comments. Also, don't forget to like this video and check out some of the other videos that I've done about nosy people, both in the descriptions and here on the end screen. Congratulations on your upcoming retirement. Have a great one. Congratulations on your upcoming retirement. And by the way, I want to suggest that you reinvent yourself. Have a great one.